Hello. How are you? Christmas is just around the corner. I can hardly believe it. I don't know about you. And you know what else I can't believe? Actually, I can. Is how amazing you guys have been, really, just in supporting us. It's really amazing how rapidly things have grown around here, like my beard. I do keep it trimmed. And this fella, what's his name? Yeah, what's your name? Jerry. There you go. I forgot his name. Jerry's grown too, but I gave him a snip recently, so that's why it's looking a bit more condensed, shall we say. But he's growing very healthily. Not thanks to your donations. Your donations are not used to feed my geranium. They're used to feed this ministry, and we really want to thank you very much. Yeah, over the past year, your donations have helped to put, equipment in this room, so I can do this thing and hit buttons. But also behind the scenes, you help support the team, the amazing team who actually do all the tricky work. I don't really do much. Just hit record, boop, and then say stuff, and then they do everything else. So you help support them, so huge thank you. So to anyone who hasn't yet signed up, or if you'd like to increase your sign up, and you're already doing it, that's so cheeky of me. Yeah, if you would like to consider giving a gift to Call to More this Christmas, it'd be lovely. Get me some razors. Your money will not be used to buy razors for Franciscans. You can do this, sign up, clicking below in the description box or going to our website, calltomore.org. God bless you. Have a lovely Christmas. So there's piles of places in the scripture. I'm not going to give you all the references because I don't have them. Not right now. I'd have to do work to find those for you, but it's all over the place. The idea that if you see God, you will die. You might have read things, I have seen God and I have not died. Usually that's what happened. They talk about, if you see God, you'll die. But then when people see it, mostly it's an angel coming as a messenger, and they're all shocked because they don't actually die. But there was this understanding, really probably rooted in the profound sense of the holiness of God, that it's impossible for us to see his face and to live. But strangely enough, this desire to see God's face is also all over the scriptures. So on one hand, it could kill you. On the other hand, they really wanted it. One of the Psalms says, "Of you my heart has spoken, seek his face. It's your face, O God, that I seek. Hide not your face from me." It's like, that's okay. So that guy definitely wants to see God's face. And that is the desire for Christmas. That prayer of that psalmist, in a sense, the answer to that prayer was the incarnation. And particularly was December 25th, was the birth of Jesus, the appearing of our God in the flesh. Jesus came to restore us to the presence of God. Jesus came to do just that. So in a sense, Christmas is like the prefiguring, the seeing. It's almost like a little heaven. It's not entirely the same, because even to see Jesus' physical face, there's still a veil there. It still requires faith to see behind his face the true presence of God. Because lots of people saw Jesus and didn't believe it was God, right? So it does require faith to engage with this reality. But still, there is something real and true about the fact that Jesus is the face of God. We say that about like companies or organizations, such and such. He's the face of Google. He is the face of football. I don't know. But you have these certain people who kind of represent a movement or a company, something like that. Well, Jesus, you could say, is the face of God. Of the Trinity, he is the one that we eventually got to see. So Jesus is the face of God. He's the making visible. So in becoming a baby then, this says something about God. Wow. What an unthinkable thing for a God, for not just a God, he's the God of shamrocks. No, he's the God, the one true God, the only God, the creator of heaven and earth, things visible and invisible. He is the holder in being, in existence right now of everything that is. He is the one that observes everything right now. That thing, that reality that we call God, became a human baby, reduced himself, limited himself to the extreme, became utterly needy, cried and fed, and couldn't scratch his head because his arms are too short. Do you ever see that with babies? They've got this huge head relative to their arms. They can't actually touch their hands over their head. Like we were like, "Mwah, I can do more than God." So then this Christmas, your teacher is a baby. Your lessons are being held in the crib. To spend some of your time sitting in front of your Christmas crib, to get your baby Jesus. Here's my baby Jesus. I have him a little early. I have him all year round on my desk where I pray in the mornings to remind me, unless you change, unless you turn and become like little children, unless you turn and become like God. Because it wasn't just like, oh, I'm temporarily going to become a baby. It's like, no, Jesus is expressing something about the eternal God who never changes. See, it's not just, oh, God is like a child. It's like, no, children are like God. Children were the planned, designed expression of something eternal that always was in God. Ta-da! Just like wheat. Wheat is an eternal expression of a reality that was already in God. And God put that into wheat, or lambs, for example, these two great images that there's many images that Jesus uses for God, for himself, but those are just two. So especially then this Christmas, through a baby, through this helplessness, through this trusting. It's like a baby's, you just can hold them and they're like, and they'll sleep in your arms. That's one of my favorite meditations, to imagine like baby Jesus on my, asleep on my shoulder. And to know that God is doing that. That if you were there and Our Lady gave you the baby Jesus, Jesus would sleep on your shoulder. Therefore, God is doing that. The Father is doing that. Jesus is doing that. He trusts you. God isn't like miserly with us. He really trusts you. He's like, oh yeah, it's my little Chris, my Mick, whatever your name is. It's like, oh, totally. He gives himself to us. St. Francis de Sales, he loved to teach children about the faith. And he was asking the children one day in this little town, he would gather them in the church and teach them. And he asked the group of them, is something about, is God, can we possess God? And this little girl who was very, very young, she said, Jesus belongs more to us than we belong to ourselves. Top marks, child. That God has utterly, utterly given himself over to you if you would receive him. If you would come to Bethlehem and see this Virgin Mother, see St. Joseph, see the humility of God, and let him be given to you. Let him take him up in your arms, take him up in your heart, and just learn from him. Study him. We have much to learn from baby Jesus, little 8 pound, 5 pounds baby Jesus. Because God really became that way, and there's something eternal about it. And it's really true, and it's super beautiful. So I hope you have an amazing Christmas, a prayerful Christmas, a very blessed Christmas. God bless you. Yeah, I'll do. I just did do that lovely ending, and let me just check my notes. There's a man who is overly dependent upon editing. Bye-bye.